Hi, my name is Michelle Liu, and I'm a data science major with a business analytics focus in finance. I had a pleasure of working with Professor Chen this summer, and our project was looking at data analytics in supply chain management. During the months of May and June, I worked on retrieving and cleaning data, and specifically for the board game industry, I coded a Python program using a community-based API to web scrape data from BoardGameGeek.com, and I was able to organize it into a CSV file. From the website, I was able to collect data on ratings, designers, publishers, publishing date, and categories for over 12,000 games. Under the guidance of Professor Chen, I calculated various measures based on the three industries, auto, food, and board games. We have since interpreted the results of our calculations, which is what I'll be presenting on today. For the food and auto industries, we calculated three important measures. Weighted degree is the number of connections one firm has with any other firm and helps determine how critical that firm is to the entire industry network. Note betweenness measures how a firm appears in a connection between two other firms. We assume firms that form the shortest connections have the highest flow of information and resources moving between them. Eccentricity measures the distance on the network between any one firm and the furthest firm relative to the first. A consolidated network would theoretically have lower eccentricities, and a network with few direct connections would have high eccentricities. When combined, our three measures provide an assessment of the financial risk of the industry, meaning our model can predict how financially healthy a company is based on its industry and the three measures we're analyzing. Both weighted degree and eccentricity have a positive effect on financial health regardless of whether the company is in the automotive or food industry. However, an automotive company with a high betweenness will have a higher financial risk compared to an otherwise identical company in the food industry. Based on the results, it appears that betweenness has a lower significance in the automotive industry and potentially no significance in the food industry when compared to the other two measures. But the latter may also be due to the relatively small sample size that was available for the food industry. Within the food industry, we see a logical decline in financial risk as the focus shifts from suppliers to purchasers to distributors. But the automotive industry is somewhat more complicated. So the tier one suppliers on average have a lower financial risk than either pure purchasers or tier two suppliers. In fact, the tier two suppliers in the automotive industry have a substantially higher financial risk than any other firm in the industry. So this is the output of our Gephi software with the automotive industry data. As you can see, the centralized firms such as Honda and Toyota are healthier due to their position in the network. In the board game industry, we were interested in determining the relationship between product performance and innovation. Product performance is measured based on average ratings of a game. Innovation, however, is more difficult to measure, and thus we use three separate figures to ascribe to the relationship. Hamming distance analyzes how different a game's combination of mechanics is to the games in prior years, while the resonance does the same comparison for games in the future years. The uniqueness looks at particular games from prior years and how distinctive the combination of categories is for a particular game. We divided the board game industry between those games not based on a video game and those that are, and we created two regressions for each of them. One model would look at the games within 1 year of the analyzed game, while the other would look at games within 2 years. For board games not based on video games, the implication of the 1 year model is that the Hamming distance had a slight positive correlation to the average ratings, while the resonance and uniqueness had near zero significance with a negative relationship. However, the 2 year model suggests that resonance and uniqueness are even more significant, with uniqueness not having a positive relationship. Meanwhile, the 1 year model for the video game based board games implies a strong negative relationship for both Hamming distance and resonance, and has a weak positive relationship for uniqueness, while the 2 year model suggests a moderate positive relationship for Hamming distance. And while the resonance and uniqueness each have a negative coefficient, neither are significant. When combined together, it implies the video game-based board games see a quicker impact on their ratings as a result of the resonance and uniqueness, or the future game mechanics and prior game categories than those board games with no relation to the video game. I had a wonderful time studying this with Professor Chen this summer, and we also had the opportunity to play a board game with her. Thank you for listening.